Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 405 of A Yank on the Footy. I'm Craig Wessels, coming to you from Sandusky, Ohio, and thanks for checking out this episode. In just a moment, I'm going to be joined by my mate Myk Aussie, who's back after his brother Kim Harrison, wink wink, filled in for him last week. We're going to be discussing all things round 22. And while we have a lot of games that might be considered clunkers, all but one of them have a direct impact on who's playing finals this year. And we get into discussing some possible player movement. We also look at who are the favorites right now for winning the grand final, as well as the Brownlow. Um, look back a little bit at the career of Travis Boak, as well as what's happening with Melbourne and why did they pull the trigger on Simon Goodwin now, as opposed to waiting until the end of the season? Could it be anything to do with Carlton? Perhaps. We'll talk about that. I do hope you enjoy the episode. I hope you'll check out my website, ayankonthefooty.com, and get on that mailing list so that when new episodes come out, they'll be in your inbox instantaneously after they have been published. Okay. And if you'd subscribe over there, that'd be fantastic. If you want to help out the show, you can certainly click on that Buy Me a Coffee button to help keep the lights on, like this one. And you can also leave a review. That would be a huge help as well if you enjoy the show, because really enjoy the banter with Myk when I'm able to have him on, and enjoy bringing my take on things to you as well. And I appreciate the feedback that I get from all of you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my chat with Myk Aussie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled to be joined again this week by Myk Aussie. Kim Harrison is on vacation this week, so Myk has decided to join us. So, Myk, how you doing today, sir?
Yes, my brother Kim. Yeah, mate. Well, I suppose the big news is Simon Goodwin getting let go from Demons coaching, but I'm probably not at all surprised with that.
You know, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't they just thump West Coast the week before they let him go? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
but
but
yeah,
I know it's West Coast, but it's yeah, it's if you were the and I suspect, we know Kenny Hinckley's stepping away, but they've already got his replacement in house. There are a lot of rumors and speculations that are going on about whether or not Michael Voss survives the end of this year. Um, do you think that Melbourne was really wanting to get maybe a bit of a jump on the possibility of Carlton sacking Michael Voss to start talking to people earlier?
yeah, good call. I think you're right there. I did read now that there was a 5-hour board meeting at the Carlton Blues, so I would not be at all surprised if the new guy gets rid of Voss. And who they're going to look at, either team, or you got the existing past coaches in Longmire,
Yeah.
Buckley, and Simpson. But going back to Goodwin, what a great career as a player. 3-year captain of the Crows, 2 flags, Hall of Fame in 2017, 5-time All-Australian, showdown medalist 2 times. So a great career as a player. And then, of course, winning the Demons' first flag in, however many years it was, like since
1964.
64.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good on him. But I think from what I can read, he might have got a bit too friendly with the players, and that can happen. You got to be cool, but you don't want to get too friendly with them. So I think that might have happened, and all the off-field
Yeah.
trouble. So
And I
not surprised.
and I look and I watch how this happens, and he's not the first coach to be fired since I've been following the game, and will certainly not be the last. But I cannot recall, and I've been a sports fan, watching American sports for, most of my life, not as much as I used to, but I cannot recall any other sport where a team sacks their coach and then brings the coach in for a press conference to say, "Hey, how do you feel about getting tossed out on your ass?" I just don't. I mean, I just don't. I that is that an Aussie thing? Does that happen in rugby league and in rugby union? Does it happen in in netball? I don't know, but or with cricket, because I've never seen that happen here.
Wow, you got me thinking. I'm not sure that they all do it. Maybe some of them do it a week later because a lot of them would be tempted to say the wrong thing. But
Yeah.
just going back to Goodwin's playing career, I hope I mentioned that the Adelaide Crows, not at DMC. Yeah, it's a star Adelaide Crows player who are on top of the ladder, I might
Yeah,
add.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you are top of the ladder now. It's you've got a hell of a club this year. I'm pulling up. I'm trying to pull up a an image that I took. I'm going to share my screen with you. This is and if you're on video, you'll be able to see this. But I want to go ahead and share. This was I want to share this image here. This was kind of at the end of the video that showed up on Code Sports. I don't know if you can see that on your screen or not.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, just the look on Simon Goodwin's face, like, son of a bitch, why am I sitting here? Uh, but getting back to this, it's after this, it's interesting because Simon Goodwin's still getting paid out the last year plus 3 games of his contract. So he had it written into his contract that he's getting paid. I'm trying to think. I'm going back a few years now. I'm thinking, who the hell was Brett Ratton's agent? He signed a 5-year deal and gets canned a year into it, and
Wow,
got he
yeah.
got he got paid 6 months of his contract. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a huge thing right there. You've got
Yeah.
so I just I I'm I'm not surprised that it happened. I thought it might happen at the end of the season, but if they're trying to get ahead of somebody else to bring in a coach that they think is going to be a better fit for them, that somebody else may be attracted to as well, that maybe they decided to go ahead and jump the gun here. Um, you know, we need to talk also, and I know he's from your rival club, Port Adelaide, but Travis Boak has announced that he's going to be stepping away at the end of the season. And as somebody who's a Crows supporter who's been watching him play against your club for, you know, over a decade, what, 13 or 14 years now, I think. Um, what's Travis Boak's career going to, look like after it's finished? What are people going to be saying about him?
Oh, very good. A lot of the boys, Blighty and Wildy, and that they ranked him about fourth of the all-time best Port Adelaide power players. So that's pretty high.
Yeah.
Three-time All-Australian, three-time Showdown medalist, captain from 13 to 18, two-time best and fairest, born in Geelong.
Hmm.
So he got drafted the same year Selwood did, I believe. So both Port Adelaide and Geelong did pretty good out of that draft.
No, I don't know if those, well, I don't think Selwood wasn't from the Geelong area though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not. I don't think that he was in fact, I'm pretty confident that he wasn't because I remember there was a couple. There was a physician and his wife that hosted like first year players with the Cats, and first or second year players that they lived with the Cats, and they had both Joel Selwood and Tom Hawkins living with them at the same time.
Right. Yep.
So I would imagine he would have lived at home if he'd been from
Yeah.
that area. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
the other kind of interesting news this week is, that an injury could have a significant impact on the way the finals are going to shape up with Lachie Neale being out until finals begin. So he's got a torn quad muscle that he suffered last week.
Oh, that's a nasty one if it's totally torn, not strained. That's definitely 3 to 4 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the quad issue right now, but my hamstrings are really bothering me. And and they don't have a terribly easy run home. They've got Sydney this week, and then they finish up with Fremantle and Hawthorn. Two clubs that they're going to try to keep at bay, but Fremantle could certainly leapfrog them if and one player does not make the team, of course, but that's a pretty damn good player, two-time, Brownlow medalist that's going to be sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, look, he's had a good year, but not as good. He's not in the top Brownlow favourites, which I've got written down if you want to go through that. And
Absolutely.
Lions are actually second favourite right now at $4.50 to win the flag. So it'd be
So
good to get your opinion on these odds for the premiership.
so who are, we've basically got 9 clubs that are competing for the flag right now because everybody else is planning their trips to Bali or to Vietnam or to come to the US to watch some NFL or whatever they're going to be doing in September. Uh, so
Yeah.
so what are they looking like odds wise? I know you said you've been doing some work on that and doing some research on that.
Yeah, well, at ninth at $26 is the Hawks. So if you put $1 on, you get 26 back. Eighth is the Giants at 21. Three teams at $18. The Dockers, the Suns, and the Bulldogs. And then the top four, third and fourth equal at $6 is the Magpies and your Cats. Second favourite, as I just said, Lions at $4.50. And Crows are the favourite at $3.75. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's 1 year that any one of the eight that make it could win it,
Oh,
really.
I think you're right. I mean, you look at, this is a been a season where, most of these clubs have feasted upon the ones that are outside of the top nine. Uh, but they've battered one another pretty well. That you've got, the number one club has beaten the number four club and the number seven club. And I guess, you know what, I will say, with the exception of the Bulldogs, because the Bulldogs have struggled against teams in the top nine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, they can score a crap ton of goals. I mean, that club right there is scary offensively. It's just, can they stop other clubs from scoring at will? I guess I have to ask, how does it feel? And do you feel comfortable right now to where the odds makers are saying that your club is the favorite to win the flag?
Oh, it doesn't really worry me, to be honest. I think any of those top four, Crows, Lions, Magpies, or Cats, would be worth putting a few dollars on.
Hmm.
Oh, look, the Crows have done very well. They don't have many injuries, which is good. Rochelle and Michaelini right now. I'd bring in Crouch, even though Crouch doesn't run a lot, he gets a hell of a lot of the ball, and
Yeah.
he's a big midfielder, which you need in the final. So I would definitely have Crouch in there. Because what happened when he didn't run much and handballed too much, that was when our team was crap.
Hmm.
But you look at a guy like, I'll compare him to, say, Andrew Jarman in a very good team. Jarman's strength and then magnificent handballing with the good players running past. So I compare that to Crouch to bring back in. 'Cause I still think we're a little bit light on in quality midfielders. I mean, Barry's okay, Saligo's okay, but other than Dawson and we're a little bit light on in big
Right. Right.
midfielders, but our defense has held up. Our defense really has improved with some of those young lads.
Yeah. They've been a fun club to watch this year. And, as you said, any of these clubs could easily take the flag home this year, and we could say, yeah, I could see why that happened. Um, and I right now, the two clubs that I had playing in the grand final are still alive. I had the Cats and Fremantle in the grand final this year. Is that going to happen? I
Okay.
don't know. Of course,
Yeah.
we have to keep in mind that, also the number 17 club on the ladder I had in the finals this year as well. So
Oh,
as I
yeah.
like to say, what the hell do I know about anything? Yeah, I thought the Roos were going to make that leap this year, but it didn't click this year. I thought that bringing in the outside help with Darling and the guy from Sydney that came in. Okay, I'm having a fade on his name right now. Um, but yeah, I
I'm
thought that was.
just I'm just glad that I had a little argument with Fremo, Collingwood, mate. I told
Mhm.
him the start of the year the Blues are no good, and he's going, "Nah, Blues will make it." So I'm kind of happy with that one.
Yeah, I don't think I had them there. I know I had your Crows I had up there as well, but it's and I'll have to go back and look, but I know I did that thing back at the beginning of the year where I literally picked out I had little wooden blocks that I picked out ladder positions on a block, and then I picked out the corresponding club that was going to fit in that spot on the ladder. And I'm gonna have to go back and look at that and see how accurate it was, because I said at the beginning of the year that I thought this was going to be a season where you could have, you know 12 or 13 clubs compete for a top eight spot, and we kind of got there. But the Swans injuries, Port Adelaide, kind of being dysfunctional, the Demons, being dysfunctional, Carlton kind of, imploding upon themselves, kind of kept that from happening. I thought the Saints would have been better than they were this year as well. But I really thought that, Richmond and West Coast were the only two clubs that didn't have a shot in hell of playing finals. But and Richmond
Wow,
has actually played fairly decently for a while.
it's been terrible to be honest. Look
Yeah.
at this week's games. What's there? One good game, maybe two. It's terrible.
Yeah, you got Hawthorne and Collingwood. Yeah. So what about what are you thinking about the Brownlow so far? Who do you think's going to finish on top there?
Oh well, I hope Jordan Dawson wins it. The current odds: Nick Dacos at $2. So if you put $1 on, you get two back. So the odds are pretty low there.
Hmm.
Anderson from the Gold Coast
Yep.
at $4.50 in second. Dawson at 6 in third. Matt Rao in fourth at $13. Your player Bailey Smith in fifth at $15. Wangareen Miller at $21. And then you got four players at $51. Holmes, McCluggage, Tom Green, and Sarong. So, yeah, looks about right, doesn't it? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you still holding out hope that Wangani Malera makes the trek to Adelaide? You think he hope he finds his way there?
Oh, I think in a couple of years, maybe. But no,
Yeah.
I'd expect him to sign probably 2-year deal at Saints. It'd be silly to sign long term, wouldn't he? Because that club's pretty awful most years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and I think this is going to be one of the most excuse me, one of the most interesting off seasons because I can't recall as many names being bandied about as possibly moving on to other clubs. And maybe it's just because of proximity blindness that I'm seeing it. That it's now that I'm recognizing it. But there sure seemed to be a lot of speculation about players leaping from Club A to Club B. I saw something that that Jamie Elliott is considering possibly heading up to the Gold Coast next year.
Wow, he's a good player.
Yeah,
He's clutch. He's clutch. I like him.
and
He's very
he's
good.
he's from that area too. He's from
Oh,
up
okay.
there, so
Okay.
it's a I think Gold Coast if they finish where I think they're being expected to finish, they're going to become an attractive club. I don't want to say a destination club, but I think they'll be an attractive club because and you would maybe know this better than others being Australian yourself. Um, would it be would it be would you find it to be a better thing? And again, I'm going to probably upset some people with this question, but if you were raising a young family, and I don't know Jamie Elliott's family status, but if you were raising a young family, would Gold Coast be maybe a better place to raise them in Melbourne? And I'm asking that as a hypothetical. I'm not condemning Melbourne. I'm asking a question. If with all the activities and such that are available along the Gold Coast and the climate and such, would it be a good place for a young family to be?
Oh, you're baiting me, aren't you? You are baiting me because you know what I think of Melbourne. Since COVID, the most locked down, pathetic city in the world, and the former premier is a piece of crap. They might even put a statue up from him. Melbourne is overrated. It's so expensive. It's so crowded. Sure, the sport is great. The MCG's great. The cricket's great. Good to visit, but nah, not a good place to live these days. And I will back that a lot. And Gold Coast, completely different. Yes, the surf, the good weather, absolutely.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Okay.
And you probably
So,
got a lot of Melbourne listeners that I've just upset. But
well,
Even Damien Barrett says that himself. So
yeah.
I'm just talking facts here.
Okay. And again, I've not been to either place, so I was asking the question here, and if I've made you angry, my humble apologies. I've heard
No, I love it. I love it. Get me
I
going.
I've heard Geelong is wonderful, however. Uh,
Oh, hang on. You know why Geelong is so good? There's nothing wrong with Geelong. The reason Geelong is so good, because just down the road you got the beautiful surf beach, Bell's
yeah.
Beach, and all those beaches, and that's why Dangerfield and Cameron and that love it. They have their little farms down there, and they got a little drive to work. So good on them, Geelong. Absolutely capitalize on that great beach area and great farm style living down that way. So
And
yeah, good on
and
Geelong.
and maybe that's what Gold Coast ends up being able to do here very soon. And do the kind of be that type of a club. That's why I kind of and I kind of joked about it being a destination club, but I think if that club starts having some success, it's going to be an attractive side. I'll go back. I've said this a lot of times, and we've talked about this, that it's good for the AFL for Gold Coast to be successful because this way, hopefully, they can get themselves off of the AFL's teat and become much more self-sufficient and not need the league to help support them.
Off the AFL's teat. That's well said, because my thoughts on expanding another team is absolute crap. I'd make them more self-sufficient. North Melbourne, St Kilda, Suns, GWS. Look at the money they're pouring in. Even Port Adelaide got a heap of money when they were down. So,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
but that's what you get when all the teams back in the what was it, late 90s or whatever, they all gave their rights to the AFL to run everything. So what do you expect?
Oh, we're going to have to talk about that someday. That's not something I'm aware of. That's something we're going to have to explore.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well, basically, the VFL was going broke, and then
yeah.
the AFL. I don't know the exact specifics, but basically, the VFL was going broke. Then the AFL was formed, and the clubs pretty much signed over their rights to the AFL in a
Okay.
lot of ways.
Okay.
And you see, there's no private ownership at all.
Right, right. Which,
It's all run by the AFL, where they just got this massive pool of money and they split it up how they want, and
yeah.
they pay too many people in AFL house too much money, like every big organization does.
Yep. Yep. That's true. All right. You ready to jump in and talk about a few of the games this week? I know we got a
Oh,
couple of,
better.
we've got a lot of games that are going to have an impact on the final standings on the ladder. Okay, they're going to determine who's playing, who's top four, who's making the eight, who's going to be the ninth club looking in, going, oh, if only this had not happened. But we've got one clunker game that really is not going to impact the finals at all. And let's get that one out of the way first, and that's Richmond and St Kilda. What are you thinking on this one?
Oh, don't care. Saints are favoured by 22 and a half. They only just beat the Roos by 9 points. And of course, Wangareen Miller were best player again, Marshall and Sinclair.
hmm
Yeah, like I think they'll win, probably by more than that. Presti is playing on again next year for the Tigers. They kicked 2 goals, 11 behinds last week against the Suns. What a mess.
Yeah, yeah.
Saints to win and probably cover. Sadly, at 9:20 Friday night my time, and I won't be watching.
Well, well, Friday night, I know I won't be watching 'cause this is my last full weekend over at the amusement park before the school year starts back up. So it's going to be hot, hot, hot. So we've got the only game that has two clubs playing for finals right now. We've got Hawthorn hosting Collingwood at yeah, Hawthorn hosting Collingwood at the MCG, as though they won't be able to find their damn way there. Um, Gee, we missed a turn somewhere, Marge. Turn the bus around. We can't find it.
Wow.
So what are you thinking on this one?
I'm thinking that if your Cats play the Magpies in a home final, it will be at MCG, and that will
Yep,
drive you even crazier.
it will. It will. I know it will. But you know what?
Uh,
It's I've come to live with it. I don't enjoy it, but I from the financial aspect, I understand it now. But it just you're an NFL fan, so we've talked about this. And for those of you who've not heard my take on this, if you were in the if you've never heard us discuss this before, in the NFL, the stadiums are in some are bigger than others, but um let's say, for example, if the Philadelphia Eagles were going to be playing against the Washington Commanders, who used to be the Washington Redskins, in the NFL playoffs in the first week of the playoffs. And the NFL came to the Eagles and said, well, we know that you finished with a better record, a higher spot on the ladder, if you will. but Washington Stadium seats 3,000 more people, so we're going to play the game at Washington Stadium. Eagles fans would drive to Washington, D.C. and burn that stadium to the ground before they allowed that to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So I understand the financial aspect of it. And this kind of gets back to maybe what you said about turning over the rights to the financial aspects and such to the league. And I know that there are contracts with the MCG. I understand that, that X amount of games have to be played there, etc. Doesn't make it any more palatable, but I do understand it at this point.
Yeah, but like I've said before, mate, yes, you're right. And the Geelong ground is narrow, the MCG is wide.
Uh-huh.
Thus, for that reason, I wouldn't be too worried because the more games you get at the MCG, the better, because that's where the big one is played.
Right, right. That's true. That's true. And I guess, I guess the way my brain looks at it is that, I mean, I look at it as, what kind of an impact, does crowd noise have on a game? So my thinking is, if the Eagles and Washington were playing, the Eagles, there'd be 80,000 people in the stadium and 78,000 of them would be Eagles fans and would be able to, to drown out any kind of, would be able to maybe drive the Washington team crazy as kind of a home ground advantage. Whereas, if the Cats and the Magpies were to play the first game of the finals at the MCG and it was a Cats home game, it would still probably be 70,000 Pie supporters and 30,000 Cat supporters.
Well, I don't know about that. If it's the Cats' home, surely they might get 40, 60, maybe.
Okay.
You'd
Okay.
think so, wouldn't you?
I don't know how ticket distribution actually works. So
Yeah.
but I just was thinking that the crowd noise. I mean, that's kind of, I guess, where my thought had been there. So
Well, you
yep.
got to look at this. Like, are you better off to get to the grand final having played more games at the MCG, thus a better chance to win it?
That's true.
But you take that risk of not getting there if you
That's
get
true.
beaten in an earlier game. So, yeah, it's 50-50, isn't
Yeah.
it? Anyway, the Magpies are favoured by 7.5 against the Hawks.
Uh-huh.
Look, this could be the upset of the week because looking at the other games, probably not.
No,
I'm going
no.
to stick with the Magpies, but would not be surprised if the Hawks win because they got to win.
Right,
And
right.
actually, I watched the game against the Crows, so the Crows came back and beat them by 14. But pretty good game actually.
Yeah.
Hawks getting off to a big lead early.
Yeah, because the Hawks still finish up with Melbourne and Brisbane. And then the Pies finish up with your Crows and then Melbourne to wrap up the
Right.
season. Yeah. Okay, so Cats hosting Essendon. This would have been the last game that I would have seen at Cardinia Park before I came home. What are you thinking on this one?
Oh, Cats will destroy him. McGrath, the Canadian for the Bombers, got best. Durham, Redham, Merritt. They got a few good players, haven't they?
Yep.
7 goals, 12 they kicked. That's not good kicking against the Swans. Cats are favoured by 66.5. I'd said about 40. So,
I said
yeah,
40
it'd
also.
probably be a 10-goal win. And Cats at home, never pick against them. Although the Giants have a good record
The
against them.
the
So, yeah,
Giants do, and Fremantle always seems to play them
that's
very
right.
tough there as well. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
right. Yep.
Yep. Okay, we got Brisbane hosting Sydney. I'm going with the Lions to win this one by about 4 goals.
Yeah, they're favoured by 26.5. It's probably about right, isn't it? The
Yeah.
spread's tough. Logan Morris, the 20-year-old up forwards, kicked 40 goals for the year, I
Yeah.
believe. So
Yeah.
he's doing well. And, of course, McCluggage in those Brownlow medal odds.
Is
Oh, look, they beat the Magpies by 27. So very impressive win. Yeah, they'll win. They'll win by about, that spread's tough. Let's say the Swans just cover.
has Logan Morris made his way into the um I don't know, has he played enough games or too many games to be qualified for the Rising Star? Has he played too many?
Oh, probably because I haven't heard him mentioned.
Yeah, because he's played 38 games.
Oh, yeah, he would be. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, so he's probably not eligible for that. But yeah, he's because I was worried how they're going to replace Danaher. Because I mean, if you're going to rely on, Eric Hipwood is a decent goal kicker, but he would not be in my I wouldn't be, have him as like one of my top 15 players that I would pick as if I was starting a team for as my key forward to rely on him.
Oh, can't stand him.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't deal with that guy.
Yeah. All right. We've got Carlton hosting the Gold Coast Suns. This one's being played at Marvel, rather than the MCG. What are you thinking on this one?
Oh, look, I picked the Suns by 12, seeing it was at Marvel, but they're favoured by 26.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tip the Blues to win, but
You're tipping the Blues to win?
sorry, the Suns to win. Yeah, my bad. I'm losing it. Suns to win, but maybe the Blues cover.
Yeah.
I just read that they're extending Nick Haynes for a 15th season. He's a good defender, eh? I
Mm-hmm.
like him.
Yep.
And of course, Suns were good to see King kick 4 goals, so he's been a little bit disappointing. And they smashed the Tigers by 84. So yeah, they got to win. They don't want to drop this one.
No, they don't, huh? Because Gold Coast, they still have 3 games to play yet. They still have,
Right.
they've got GWS, Port Adelaide, and Essendon. You figure they're going to win the last. You would figure they're going to win the last 2. Although, and it's a couple of weeks out though. I have this funny feeling Port Adelaide's going to give them the game of a lifetime in that last Kenny Hinkley game with Travis Boak playing. I just have a funny feeling that might be an upset alert game right there. That Port Adelaide might steal that one from them. I'm gonna be wrong about it, but won't be shocked.
Yeah, I hope you're
Yep.
wrong.
All right, GWS hosting North Melbourne. They're going to Canberra. I've got the Giants winning this one by about 3 goals here. It's probably going to be more than that.
Yeah, Manuka, Canberra, the capital of Australia. All the overpaid politicians that are ruining my home country. Giants are favoured by 44.5. Yeah, I thought about 42. God, what was that, losing to the Dogs by 88? What the hell's going on there? Oh, look, they'll win this. The Roos probably stick with them for a half, but then
Yeah.
falter as always.
Yep. And then we've got I think I skipped one. Port Adelaide hosting Fremantle. I'm going with the Dockers doing this one by about 4 as well.
Yeah, they're favoured by 24. And Adelaide, they should get that done. I tipped it by about 18, so maybe Power to cover. I'll have to look at the ins and outs for the Power on that one, but
Yep.
yeah, Dockers are going nicely, aren't they? They're good players are back, so they're doing very well. And then we just need Shea Bolton to fire up and have a great game, and they could be dangerous in the finals.
They absolutely could. That's a very fast team. It's a very fast team. Yep. All right, we've got the Melbourne Demons coached by I don't even know who right now. I don't know who they've named as the interim coach. I didn't even see that. Playing the Bulldogs. I think this is at the MCG as well. What are you thinking on this one?
I did hear who the interim coach was, but because I hadn't heard of him, I didn't write it down. So shows how much I care.
Maybe was it a guy by the name of Ted Lasso by chance? Is Ted Lasso going to try coaching a different code of football now?
What a great show! What a great show! Eh? That's so good. I don't even like soccer, but it's such a good show.
Yeah.
Melbourne,
Melbourne, you've got to believe. You've got to believe, Melbourne.
I love razzing up the Demons. What a joke after their flag, eh? Oh, look, they beat the Eagles easy by 83. Dogs are favoured by 22.5. I said 24, so I'll take the Dogs to cover that.
Okay.
And they're doing well, but they're struggling against the top teams, as we said.
Yeah, and your last game of the round is your Crows heading to Perth to play the West Coast Eagles. What are you thinking about that? Which is going to be the more dominant bird?
Oh, my God, eh? What a disgrace the Eagles are. Oh, they're favoured by 58.5, the Crows are. In Perth, can you believe that? 10-goal favourite in Perth. The mighty Eagle has had its wings cut off, not clipped.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
Look, the Crows. Yeah, they're going nicely. They just got to keep their head together and
stay healthy.
Yeah, and this is where the this is where the pressure on for spots in that team. A
Yeah.
couple of the edge fringe players, if they have a
Yep.
rough game, they'll get dropped. So that should bode well for the Crows.
Yeah, it absolutely should. Yeah, it's this is going to be this is the game that right now, and they still finish up. They've got Collingwood coming up the following week, and then North Melbourne. And that Collingwood game could very well be a game where you've got two clubs playing for a home final in the first round.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what that could be right there. But it's going to be a great matchup. But it's I think that the finals this year, we keep lamenting the fact that the regular fixture has been bad because we've had so many clubs that are, below 500. Clubs 11 through 18 are all underwater in terms of their record. The Power are 8 wins and 12 losses. I mean, that's the 11 club all the way down to 119 West Coast. But I think while we may have been sitting here thinking about, my God, this regular season has absolutely sucked, this final series ought to be phenomenal because you've got so many clubs that have been so good this year that we're gonna see a clash of the Titans. I think game in and game out in finals coming up.
Well, I want to be because I bet Channel 7 are damn right pissed off paying massive dollars for the rights and getting some of these prime time Thursday, Friday night games have been terrible.
I heard they gave up the rights to one of the games this coming weekend.
Oh,
That they
don't care.
I think that I think it was next week. Yeah, next week is Essendon and St. Kilda on Thursday night.
Wow.
Or I'm sorry, on Friday night. And I guess Channel 7, I think I read somewhere where Channel 7 said, "Nah, we don't want to air that game."
Well, like I said before, just as well I'm here and I have other sports to watch instead of watching some of these games because there's so many people in Australia who are just addicted to it. They'll watch anything, and I'm not like that. I watch the good games. I listen to a lot of radio and I
Yeah.
watch the highlights and follow the best players, but I'm not sitting down watching full games of crap.
Yep. All right. Well, you're ready for your five terms for this week, sir.
Woo. Okay.
Okay. What is a sticky beak? A sticky beak.
Sticky beak. Probably Melbourne media where they got to stick their nose in everything and
That's
try and get the story. And it's general term for just in life. Don't be a sticky beak. Mind your own business.
that's damn near spot on. And I was going to ask you I was going to ask you the follow up, and who is the biggest sticky beak in the media? You don't have to answer that question if you don't want to, but
Oh, sure, actually. I don't know. Some of these new lads, Tom Morris and that, they're doing well, but I don't know. Kane Corns, I like him, but
uh-huh.
he causes a lot of trouble. No, he's not really a sticky beak. That's I'm not sure. I'll have
Okay.
to think about that
No,
one.
that's okay. What does it mean to suss out? SUSS. What does it mean to suss out?
Well, I definitely won't be sussing out the Saints Tigers game. Means to check it out, to suss it out.
Yep, to investigate or to understand or figure something out. Yep. All right. So I'm going to guess that this applies also to the aforementioned Saints and Richmond game. Bonzer, Bonzer.
Well, I hope the Magpies Hawks is a Bonza game, which means it's a good game.
Exactly. It's excellent, wonderful, or fantastic. Yep. All right. Okay. You're four. So you're 3 for 3 so far. So you've already won today, even if you don't get these last two. And I think
Making
you're
it too easy, mate. Too easy.
sorry about that. I'm running. I may be running out of them soon. Okay. So some of them are pretty are even easier than this. So what does it mean to flake out?
To flake out.
Uh-huh. And it
To
has
what? Probably a couple of things. Flake out would be to a bit like Port Adelaide right now, probably kind of give up. And it also might mean, if you're drunk and crashed out.
Okay, to flake out means to fail to follow through or on a commitment or a plan or
Yeah,
bailing out.
okay.
So Port Adelaide fits the bill there.
Yeah.
Okay. And your last one, you're 4 for 4 here. Okay. Fart arsing. Fart arsing.
Oh, you've got me there. Fart arsing?
Yep.
How do you,
Fart, just like the word fart. And
yeah.
arsing, just like arse, but arsing. Yeah. So it's more like a verb. Yeah. Yep.
And one word or two?
2 words.
Well, we spell arse in Australia ARSE, I believe, instead of
Yep.
ASS.
Yep.
That's one difference.
That's what it's referencing. Yes.
Fart arsing. Nah, something to do with dropping a fart, probably a stinky fart, but nah, no
Nope.
idea on this one.
Um, Slang for wasting time or not working efficiently, especially when one should be focused on a task. So
Yeah,
it could be used to
okay.
describe someone who's being lazy or inefficient. So I was going to ask you, what 3 players have done the most fart arsing this year?
Well, first of all, you're right. That I'll take that as a term, and I'll admit that it is a term. So yes, you're right on that one.
Okay.
I don't know. Eric Hipwood, I wouldn't trust him. He kind of. I don't know. Other than that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not going to put you on the spot there because we know that every player in the AFL listens to this podcast. So
Yeah.
they're always. Why are you laughing at that? You're going to make me feel sad now. Okay. Okay.
Eddie Maguire does after he got my card at the Lord's Test
There you
Championship.
go. Oh, that would be that would be wonderful. Yep. Yep. All right, Myk. Well, hey man, before you go, tell us where people can find your work and what have you got going on, sir?
All right, MykAussie.tv, AFL columns, NFL, CFL, cricket, more sports. So it's MYKAUSSIE.tv. And Edmonton Cricket TV, I'm stirring them up here because of the corruption by the committee. So I posted another video of the disgraceful nets, the outdoor nets
I
here.
saw that.
It's just like, you lazy so-and-so, spend some money, but it won't get fixed because then they'll say they don't want to credit Edmonton Cricket TV for anything. In fact, they tell some players not to talk to us because we know they're corrupt. So lots of interesting stories there. Big tournament happened in Calgary last week, and that was great because they were actually banned from the Association Cricket Canada and Alberta Cricket for a while. And all they did was report a guy that stole all the money from them, allegedly. So there you go. Have some love for Calgary in cricket, at
Yep.
least.
Okay, let me ask you as a quick follow up on your nets in the practice wickets there. Have those come apart? And I did see your posts on that. Have those come apart simply by wear and tear and usage, or is there been vandalism that's going on there, do you think?
No, absolutely. Wear and tear and useless and laziness by the committee and the council. So the committee should have gone to the council where they would pay for these facilities
Uh-huh.
and got them to fix it. And if not, just do it yourself. Get 3 or 4 people there, as you see in the video. I took some wire and pliers and I was going to attempt to fix a little bit. Then I
Yeah.
saw absolutely how bad it was.
Yeah.
I could have done it with 2 other guys, maybe 3 hours, some wire. We could have fixed it to about 60-70% level.
Right.
And
Right.
then, like I said, I could have invoiced them for thousands of dollars when I probably only spent a few hundred. But I could have done that if I was mates with the committee, but I'm not.
Well, if you had done that, then you would have been just as corrupt as the people you've been exposing.
Yeah, it's absolutely. But you got my gist behind it.
No, absolutely.
Someone will
Absolutely.
go in there, fix it, and then charge the committee thousands of dollars. And then the guy that signs the checks will pocket some himself. It's proven fact.
Yeah.
I'm not telling lies on this. You'll see the letter from the secretary, the treasurer, I believe, that resigned in March.
Hmm.
You'll see part of that ladder in my post.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
you got me going
I
again.
will. That's okay, man. That's okay. You know what? That means that you're gonna have a much better day at work because you're gonna go faster and it's gonna get done quicker.
Yeah, vent my rage. You're right. It does help a bit, doesn't it?
Yep. All right, man. Hey, I hope you have a great week, and I hope your Crows perform up to expectations. And I would be shocked if they didn't.
All right.
But have a wonderful week, Mick.
Thanks. Good talking to you, man.
You
See you
bet.
later.
You bet. Cheers. All right, Mick. Hey, thanks for sitting down to chat with me again today. A lot of fun there, sir. I hope you have a great day at work. This is my last week off from my teaching job, my last weekend at the amusement park that I'm working. Hopefully, get through this as unscathed as possible. Been having a little trouble with my hernia acting up. It's not been feeling great, but hopefully we'll muddle through that, and then I'll be down to only about 10 more days at the park while it's open on some off days that I have from school. So, folks, remember you can find everything about the podcast over at my website, ayankonthefooty.com. Again, I do hope you'll get subscribed. I hope you'll get on that mailing list. Give me a follow on my socials at Yank_on X. Yank on the Footy podcast over on Facebook. You can find me also, Craig Wessels, on Facebook as well there. Yank on the Footy podcast over on Instagram as well. And I am on LinkedIn. You can find my name, Craig Wessels, there if you want to give me a follow there as well. Made a lot of connections over there. Just started to scratch the surface in terms of lining up interviews with people through LinkedIn. It's been a treasure trove of possibilities. And don't forget, folks, if you've got a great idea for a guest on the podcast, I've got a couple that are lined up. I've got one interview that I did actually back in late June that I've not released yet. I've just been so busy that I've not had the chance to sit down and record the opening and the closing for that one as of yet. But I look forward to bringing that one to you. It's kind of a unique one because it's a fellow Ohioan like myself who happens to live in Australia now. And we have an even deeper connection than that with regards to high school sports here in the United States. But again, folks, check up on your friends, look out for one another. If you need to talk to somebody, reach out. Don't hesitate to do so. Okay. Those numbers are in the show notes of every single episode of my podcast. And don't forget, the folks, the world is a much, much better place with you in it. Okay. By all means, if you need to reach out, shoot me a note on Messenger. Shoot me a note on Twitter, okay, or X. I'll chat with you to help you out in any way that I possibly can because it can be helpful, reciprocally as well there. So, folks, like I said, get out, have that snag, go out for that coffee, all right. But check up on your friends, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, may your dribble kick never hit the post. I will catch you later. And this has been episode 405 of Yank on the Footy. Okay. Don't hesitate to reach out at yankonthefooty@gmail.com. Subscribe over to yankonthefooty.com. And again, if you've got a great idea for a guest, a great story to tell about footy, please reach out. Okay. Fill in that register as a guest page over on my website. Shoot me a note over there as well. And until next time, cheers and goodbye.